Okay, you know we're live now. Are you done watching trailers?
Yes, I am.
Watching trailers in the middle of our show.
It's a movie podcast.
Oh, all right. Critique-Opolis is back. What episode is this?
I'm going to say 39 or 40.
Somewhere in there. We're slowly climbing the rungs of the podcast hierarchy. This week, hundreds of beavers, not a euphemism. I am just going to open up with this. I loved this movie.
Did you? Did you?
Loved
How
it.
did you feel about hundreds of beavers?
Loved it. This was the most original movie I have seen in a long time. God, where to begin? Independently produced and distributed. The two key guys, Mike Cheslick and Rayland Brixton Cole Tews. Rayland was the main character in this. Given the synopsis, I'm going to try and condense this because there's so many little twists and turns in the middle of this movie, but it is a combination live action, cutout animation movie that's driven heavily by slapstick comedy. And when I say slapstick, it's like every single scene has something goofy and funny in it. And it's all black and white. Quick over this. When I read you the synopsis, I think if anyone's tuning into this, they're going to be like, this sounds fucking crazy. But if I can use this as an advertisement for this movie, which we don't get we get no kickback on, go watch the trailer. If you want to see an unusual presentation and an unusual story, something totally outside of the norm of Hollywood, this is the movie for you, especially if you like slapstick comedy. 19th century Applejack salesman Gene Kayak is our main character.
Can I just interrupt you for a minute, please?
Jump in, please.
What is an Applejack salesman?
So Applejack is a drink. It's like, they still make it. I think it fell out of favor. It's an alcoholic drink made from apples, big in colonial era. It declined, I guess, in the 19th and 20th century because there's 8 zillion different spirits out there. But you can still buy it. On Wikipedia, the item they highlight is Laird's Applejack. But in the story, Gene Kayak's farm is destroyed because a beaver chews through one of the support towers on his on a giant keg, which rolls into a fireplace, explodes, and destroys his entire farm and all of his apple trees. And he wakes up in the winter and has to search for food. He has to change his career because now his job's gone. And you have to jump in here, otherwise I'm going to run out the mouth.
Okay.
He finds a group of beavers collecting logs, and he attacks the pair, but then he's thwarted. I'm going to try not to go through the whole movie, but it's sort of a story about how he kind of man against nature. There is a love interest that pops up about midway through the movie. And Gene, our main character, has to figure out how to... he's lost his Applejack farm now, so he becomes a fur trapper he meets I guess like a mentor, and the mentor shows him how to catch and trap different animals. But these animals this is such a hard movie to describe because there's so much going on. It's shot in black and white, but all the animals are people wearing animal costumes. And
That sounds really silly. It sounds really kind of stupid.
It sounds
actually,
dumb.
But like,
The stylizing.
I agree. You have to watch the trailer and you have to see how Jay's words match up with the trailer and what this whole movie is, because I don't think you can speak. I don't think you can completely speak to what it is like visually, because what you just said, like animals, various animals and people costumes.
There are
various people in animal costumes.
Like when you say it, it sounds ridiculous.
It sounds completely and totally ridiculous.
And before we did this show, I tried to describe this movie to other people, to 3 people, and all of them looked at me like I was an asshole. Like it's really, this movie lives in its own world. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
like
that's a good way to put it.
There's a total suspension of disbelief. It's like, you know that the people dressed up as wolves, and some dressed up as beavers, and some dressed up as rabbits. You know those are supposed to be the animals, but they have human qualities because they're people dressed wearing these rabbit heads and rabbit suits.
And it's also in black and white, and it's not like super cartoon costumes. They're
real fabric costumes.
They're real costumes.
But a lot of the backgrounds are cutouts, are like cut out like paper animation.
Oh yeah.
Or not matte paintings, but like construction matte.
It's really.
It was so creative the way they put this together.
It's so great on so many levels.
It was like a giant hour-and-a-half long diorama that moved.
Yeah, that's a good way to.
And a part of the. Oh, sorry, we're recording in a room that has a really loud air conditioner, and so. You'll pardon us, folks. There's no money coming in from the podcast, so we're not spending money on a giant studio. You just have to deal with it. Gene has to learn how to become a fur trapper, and he is as he's learning, he's thwarted by these animals who they make the traps that he creates. Rig on Gene himself while he's setting them up, so they're kind of pulling gags on him while he's trying to trap them, and he slowly gets better at trapping these animals, and he finds a furrier to trade with, falls in love with the furrier's daughter. How do you even describe that? This is where I feel bad about having a movie podcast, where I have a hard time. I get tripped up with. This is such a intelligent, complex, stylized movie that you have to take yourself out of the realm of you're in 19th century America or in the Great North Woods. That's where it's set, but the behaviors are that of present day. Like when she starts to flirt with him, she goes from showing him her ankle to doing a pole dance. It was crazy. It was absolutely, but it was hysterical at the same time. And her father, the innkeeper of the furrier, he doesn't like him. He doesn't like Gene at all. And he says, if you're going to have my daughter's hand in marriage, am I putting you to sleep here or what?
No, I'm just tired.
You have to bring me, hence the name of the movie, hundreds of beavers, hundreds of beaver pelts.
And that's sorry, I'll start again. That is very close to the end of the movie. So he has to go through all this. Gene, you said his name is?
Gene.
He has to go through all this, I would call it other stuff, before he gets to this point of wanting to marry this lady, and how exactly to go about it, which is to bring this furrier hundreds of beavers.
Yeah, he gets to he's just trying to stay alive. He's just trying to catch food initially.
In the beginning, and I loved this part of the movie too. I don't know if this is giving too much away. It's not in the preview, but the movie, in addition to the other stylistic elements that it also has this animation and this like grid. To me it looks like an old elementary school worksheet, and it's like, to get different, you're gonna have to help me here because you know how I'm trying to explain.
Are you talking about the like the equals page?
Yes.
Like
Thank you. So to get like the tools he needs to survive,
yeah,
I think.
He has like a sheet of all the things he can get from the furrier.
And how much everything costs, but it's not in.
It's not in dollar terms.
Yeah, it's not in
beaver
money.
terms.
Yeah, it's in like animals and.
Yeah, like to get a pickaxe, you need 2 beavers. To get a baseball bat, you need 8. To get the actual rifle, you need 12.
Yeah.
And like when there's not really dialogue in the movie.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there's him yelling, and it's kind of exaggerated experiences throughout. Like when he's hunting for these things, he's walking through the snow and he loses his snowshoes, and he inadvertently alerts some of the rabbits of his presence when he steps on like a thorny acorn, and he has this exaggerated yell that the entire North Woods can hear, and they like split off from him. But the equal sheet that you were talking about, you could, instead of him like pointing at anything he's interested in lights up like a video game. So that's what I mean. There's these elements of like the way we use technology today through icons and items that a user is interested in lighting up. That's how all this signage worked in this movie. So, and you got to remember, like, so much of the movie is, even though it was shot in Wisconsin and northern Michigan, there's actual live action shots of the forest. There's a ton of stuff that's just like the snowballs rolling, or him being flung out of the wolf den. You can tell it's 2 pieces of film laid on top of one another. Like he's flying through the air, like over the woods, because he had himself hooked up to a tree that was bent over in the event that the wolves woke up when he was in there trying to steal beaver pelts out of it. And it's just this exaggerated existence, which is the entire film, but it's exaggerated in a way that makes it like really hysterical. Like any of the trials and tribulations that you would go through hunting, they animated it with live action. It was so creative. And they shot this whole thing for $150,000, which I am astonished by. And I was more entertained by this movie than, I can't tell you the last comedy I've seen that made me laugh like this thing did.
It was very funny. And it wasn't like funny here and funny there and funny at the end. Constant. It was funny the whole time. Like and again, I really appreciated, I don't know if appreciate's the word I want, but I appreciated that there was no dialogue, because it almost made it more funny. It didn't need dialogue and just the sounds of the animals and
like their surprise, or like when he rolls a log onto a beaver and kills one, like they have eyes, but like when one of the beavers gets killed, like you pointed out, the X's appear over the eyes.
I don't know why, I just love that. I thought that was so funny.
I read in the show notes here that they got all these beaver costumes from a discarded Chinese manufacturer, and they just added on the teeth because they were originally supposed to be. I thought
that was so cool. When I read that, I was like, oh, that's really brilliant, because they do look exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like they're very mascot-y looking.
Yeah, it was a mascot company. And they just had a bunch of these, and I think some of them were deformed or defective or something.
Something was wrong, yeah.
Yeah, so they gave them all these costumes, and they got it for next to nothing.
It's really...
What else did I want to tell you? But like, I don't want to fawn about this too much. I know that they found one of their production partners. Let me see. Oh, this Jessica Rosner, former executive at Kino Lorber, which is a film distribution company in New York. She helped them market it, but they just took it on the road show to every film festival they could submit to, and this thing won a bunch of awards, and rightly so. It was. That's the thing, is like making a movie that's constantly like frame by frame entertaining. I mean, this director, what's his name, Mike Cheslick. If he can write projects like this, he's going to have a long career.
Yeah.
Because this was, I was trying to tell Jackie about it, and she's like, "This sounds nuts," and I'm like, I know. Watch the trailer. Just watch the trailer. Give it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So $150,000 budget, box office, 451,646. Nice little return at the box office, but I think it's now it's streaming, and it's, I don't know what their revenue stream looks like after it's streaming, but You knew about this after I told you, right? Had you heard about it before?
I had heard about it before, but only very, very briefly. Honestly, I saw a poster at my local movie theater, and I didn't really think twice about it. But when you mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, I think I know what you're talking about." And yeah, so I didn't know a lot about it. I just knew the movie poster from the wall. And that's all. Watched it. Read the trailer.
Yeah, I saw the clip on Instagram. And it was somebody just like fawning about it. I'm like, this looks nuts. And then I saw the trailer. I'm like, that's it. I got to watch this. God, this is the thing. It's like whenever you see a movie this good, or just so intelligent, well made, just so creative, that like any other popcorn movie, I'm like, this is fucking terrible. This is like does not move me. And
it's just a different kind of movie. Movies don't get made like this anymore. This is like,
I mean, the good ones do. They have to be independent. I mean, that's what's
that's a good independent.
That's what's so bananas is that this was so good, so entertaining from scene to scene, and $150,000. That's less than a house today in Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's less than a house. That's a really good,
Inspiration was drawn from the Mario video games, America's Funniest Home Videos, slapstick comedy of Abbott and Costello, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, and what did I say on the way up to the food rally? Three Stooges.
Yep.
Twos, that's the actor, bases movements in the film on Jackie Chan. A scene in Seven Chances in which Keaton is chased by a horde of angry women is referenced in the film. There's a scene where he kind of infiltrates the Beaver Dam, which is...
Oh, yeah, okay. I see the comparison.
Yeah, so for anybody who, like, beavers build dams in rivers, but they kind of amp this up since it's an animated movie. And the beavers are more like a construction crew, like an automated Henry Ford assembly line crew marching in logs to an actual building made of wood, like an actual wooden dam, a giant building.
Like the frame is there.
Yeah, the frame is there, and like the beavers have hard hats on, and they have their own jobs. And once Gene starts, killing some of the beavers for their pelts, they send out a Sherlock Holmes and Watson stylized two beavers who are like inspectors to try and figure out who's causing these murders. It's crazy.
It's so many. I thought about this when we were watching it.
So many references.
Plot points and so many different things, but they all relate to each other and they all go together. Like it all makes sense.
And like he finally gets caught in the dam. Gene gets caught in the dam, and they put him on trial for murdering beavers.
Oh, that was really funny. Yeah.
And he's given like this public defender beaver who's like totally inept.
I loved the jury of beavers. They were all like listening very intently, like, "Oh, this is what happened. We see these. What do you say? Exhibit A and Exhibit B. These were the scenes of the crime."
Right, and there was a prosecutor beaver who like they didn't say anything, but he gestured in this manner like he's the killer. He's the guy who's committing all these atrocities. And the jury's of beavers just has these very judgy eyes looking at him, and the judge beaver is wielding like a freshly cut mallet from that's the other thing. Anything that had to do with wood, the beavers like make it out of thin air they take a log and they just like chomp on it until it's in the shape of whatever it is they're making. I can't say enough about this movie. I haven't seen a movie like this I haven't raved about a movie like this in years. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when we first started hanging out and I took you to see Amelie? Mm-hmm. And at some point I was like, look, I don't think we can be friends if you don't like this movie. And then you got out of it and you were really hesitant to say, yeah, I didn't like it.
I didn't.
Honestly, for a week I was like, what the hell is the matter with her? How do you not like that movie? But I think that we're kind of on the same page with this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good, because I was going to have to just turn this whole set off and be like, all right, that's it. We're never going to see eye to eye.
I thought you were going to continue talking about Amelie.
Oh, no. I know it wasn't your thing. I'm not going to revisit that.
Okay.
But also an amazing movie. I don't know what she's talking about.
So says everybody else, but I didn't see it.
How did we rent this? What did we?
Oh, I think we watched it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it was like what, $3?
Mm-hmm.
Best $3 you'll ever spend.
It was so entertaining.
9 weeks of filming done in Stevenson, Michigan, and the northern Wisconsin towns of Manitowish Waters, Pembin, and Superior. Superior, that's where I stay with Ryan when we go up to do Apple Fest.
Oh, really?
Real close. Well, real close. Superior, Wisconsin. That's where he has his boat docked. Over 1,500 visual effects were made using Adobe After Effects. That's how he did it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Editing and post-production took 2 years.
Yeah.
Which I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Tu's father composed and performed songs for the film. Oh, that was his dad?
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, like the Applejack song at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, there was very little music, but the music that there was, I really did like. I don't think I ever voiced that while we were watching it, but I did like.
I like that song.
The music, yeah.
Let's see. I guess it premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2022, and they distributed themselves. A fellow by the name of Kurt Ravenswood oversaw the promotion campaign. Just amazing. I would love to bend their ear on how they did that. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 96%, which is pretty unheard of.
That's very good.
79 critics reviews are positive. Average rating of 8.3 out of 10. Website's consensus reads, sustaining a zany premise with stylistic bravado and inspired gags, Hundreds of Beavers is a comedic gem that gives a damn. Metacritic uses weighted average, assigned the film a score of 79 out of 100 based on 10 critics indicating generally favorable reviews. I think that's a little low, but also took award Kansas International Film Festival and Phoenix Film Festival, Best Narrative Film and Best Director, respectively. So yeah, check it out. I couldn't push this, recommend this movie anymore. It's tough because I want to talk about all the little all the little bits in it, but this would be like a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, and you don't want to give everything away.
You have to go into this just knowing that I would watch the trailer first to get an idea for how what the style of the movie is supposed to be. It's high energy, unusual. It's absolutely a narrative, but you're gonna live in a different world for an hour and a half.
It was fun. I definitely recommend it.
I can tell you about some of the stuff that's been going on in the dailies, but I'm going to suspend that for the moment because we decided a couple hours ago that we were going to talk about, you were going to talk about a couple of movies that are in development, one of which I am really looking forward to hearing an update on.
Okay, well, I delved deeper after I mentioned it.
Don't tell me that you don't have movie updates. It's just book updates. It's a book update. God damn it. What?
It's not a book update.
What is it? Tell me. Tell the listeners, Louisa.
So Jay here's a big fan of Michael Mann. He loves all his movies. He showed me Heat. And for a while, I would say, there have been talks to make Heat 2 into a movie because a book came out, a year?
Released in Japan, I think.
Okay.
Or at least that's where it was first released. I haven't seen it. It hasn't come up on my feed anywhere as being for sale anywhere.
Okay.
I've heard story notes because Chris Shiherlis, the character played by Val Kilmer, is really the only one of the crew who survives. And what I had heard was that he goes to, I want to say Latin America, and ends up hooking up with like a cartel or some other organized gang doing international crime. But that's all I heard. This was about a year ago, article from about a year ago. Don't keep us in suspense. What did you read?
It's really, I feel a little bit bad because it's not that much new information. It seems to be a slow working process. But recently Michael Mann gave a new interview, and he said that he was working on writing a screenplay for the sequel. Based on the book Heat 2. And he wants to begin shooting at the end of the year and the beginning of 2025. But then he stopped short of talking about the movie and the cast for Heat 2 more because he didn't want to give a lot away, and I don't know if he really honestly knows what all he can say. Oh, it disappeared.
He wants to start shooting when?
At the end of the year and the beginning of the next new year.
Oh, that means we're going to have something by 2026.
It'll be very exciting. But
that's usually what they do is in terms of when there's going to be a news article, the article will be, okay, there's a book. And then the next article a year later, okay, they're working on a
script, yeah.
And this is when we'd like to start shooting, barring any delays. So I cannot wait for that trailer.
Yeah, that will be very exciting.
And I think the conversation that we've had in the past was that Austin Butler might play him.
Yes, I think so. And Adam Driver might be involved. Did you know that before?
I did not, but again, from what I heard about the Japanese release of the book, I don't know if there's going to be flashbacks to when they first got together in prison. When Neil McCauley was played by De Niro. Chris Shiherlis was Val Kilmer. Michael, the actor is now dead. What's that guy's name? Was involved with Heidi Fleiss. Oh my God, what is his name? Anyway, he dies in Heat, but they all got together in prison. He was also in Saving Private Ryan.
No, never saw that.
Oh, you didn't.
I know, but I kind of seen everything.
That's all right. They all got together in prison, but that's what I heard is that part of the movie is about when they got together, and the other half of the movie, or the other half of the book, is Chris Shiherlis on his own in some foreign country doing international crime. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean,
is that fairly?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, I think you know more than me about this, but this is all still pretty new to me. But so I can't read and talk at the same time very well.
This is driving me nuts. I can't remember that guy's name.
Tom
Sizemore. That's who it is.
Yeah,
Tom Sizemore.
I wouldn't have come up with that.
Yeah, he was. He was involved with Heidi Fleischman. He had a real tumultuous personal life. He was in Point Break too.
Tom Sizemore.
Mm-hmm. You remember when they busted the Anthony Kiedis in that house?
Oh yeah, you pointed him out to me. I remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
He was the DEA agent.
Going back to Heat 2.
Yeah.
Michael Mann did say that. Michael Mann, it's just funny to say. That it would be a combination of CG and makeup, because
pull back a little.
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Yeah, they're old as hell.
Yeah,
they're gonna be in their mid 80s.
And it
90s.
says the movie actually starts 8 years. I cannot read and talk at the same time. It's too much. The movie starts in 1988, and then it jumps to 2000. But they don't really know who to cast because he's still working on the screenplay. And rumor has it, I think, we say this already, that Adam Driver will be in it as well as Austin Butler.
I've heard. I think maybe it's Austin Butler is going to, or
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver might play a young Neil McCauley.
He will. He will. Yeah, that's what it says here. And then guess who might be a leading lady?
Oh, wait a minute. This is going to be fun.
I love her. I'll give you that hint.
I don't know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I'm like, from what you read, does it have anything to do?
It doesn't have anything about this actress's name with a character.
Okay, so you don't know if it's going to be in the 1988 timeline or if it's going to be in the 2000.
Correct.
I don't know. You like a lot of actresses.
That's very true. But
Emma Watson?
Might be Ana de Armas.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my God. She is the darling of Hollywood.
So in other words, friends, we'll definitely be going to see this. I mean, we would have anyway, but I'm just saying.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
But he just doesn't, Michael Mann, he just doesn't want to say a lot about anything because I think, one, he doesn't have a lot tied down, and also he wants a lot of it to be secret.
He's not really one for, I don't want to say he's not one for sequels, but like, you know how a lot of people make a sequel and it frames, like the action components can frame the previous movie, like, for in Heat 1 and just Heat, the most talked about scene in that movie was the bank robbery and the shootout afterwards, because they didn't modify the sound at all. It was it was real gunshots in downtown LA. They used blanks, of course, but like they got this sound because all the they were.
I remember, it's amazing.
They were using
to watch.
They were using AR-15s downtown, and all of those gunshots were echoing off the buildings in downtown LA, and you got this amazing. You felt like you were in a war. I remember seeing it in the theater and be like, "Oh my God, this is like a war." So I don't see him
giving a lot away.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know that he would frame it in the same... but you know what? I'm sure there's going to be a couple of awesome heist scenes in it. I mean, it might not be at the same timing of it, but there's got... That was the combustion point of the movie. It's like you had a couple of heists at the beginning, and then you had all this character buildup, cat and mouse, and then you had this pressure cooker built up, and then the firing pin was being ignited was the bank robbery scene. I just can't wait to see what he's going to do with this. I really should read the book.
I was just about to ask you, should we see if we can get our hands on the book so you can read it?
I wonder if it's Japanese, though, because it was released in Japan. I don't know if they have an English version.
We can try to find out.
Oh, yeah, see, we should look and see if they have an audio copy of it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Very good call.
Okay, but that was, what was your other one that you were looking at?
Oh, well, I just heard from you about it. I think this afternoon, earlier today. Backdraft 2.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find a lot about it. So I'm not really sure.
So is it going to be a Backdraft 2 or is it a remake? I think it's a remake of Backdraft with Louisa's new boyfriend.
I always have a new boyfriend.
She does. Oh my God, you hussy.
I have a lot.
Who is he?
Glen Powell.
Yep, with that absurdly freaking Joker painted on smile of his. Don't make fun of Glenn. Okay, I won't. But his
we
smile,
both appreciate a good smile.
I know he's good looking.
Yes, you're right. Good. Thank you for clarifying. It is a remake of Backdraft. It's not Backdraft 2. My apologies.
I think this is...
That's
I
better
like
information.
This. I like him as an actor, but I don't like this trend of all these remakes and not original stories. Because he's also in... What was the other thing I told you earlier before we came down here? He's in something else.
Oh, he's in Twister.
Oh, and The Running Man.
Oh, yeah.
They're remaking The Running Man with him. Mm-hmm. That the 1985 Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, I understand the remake versus the original storylines.
So you couldn't find too much on that?
Not really, but now that I'm on a better page than I was before, because I was looking it up as Backdraft 2, which it's not Backdraft 2. And I've actually never seen Backdraft. So.
What? My God. I have to educate you. I
can't have seen everything that ever was made.
I've seen everything.
I'm only so old.
That's what I've been able to squeeze in my extra 8 years of age, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen every movie. That's all it takes. 8 extra years. You know what? We're watching that today.
I rode the ride at Universal Studios. I remember that. Or maybe, is there a ride?
Yeah. What else do we have? Oh, or is it the dailies for me?
It might be the dailies for you, please.
Okay, so a couple things going on that the interested public needs to know about.
I mean, this is important information.
So apparently, Disney got hacked by a group named Null Bulge. Claims to have nabbed, are you ready for this, 1.1 terabytes of Disney's internal Slack messages and files. And we're talking the whole enchilada. They got unreleased projects, code, login credentials, even photos of employee dogs. So like anything that's in development or that's been shot, there's raw footage that's just sitting on their servers.
Oh my gosh.
They grabbed it. Disney's not saying much, but this breach could expose a lot of sensitive info and lead to more targeted attacks. I swear to God, I don't know what it is with movie studios. You would think with all that intellectual property they own that they would have like bulletproof servers. But you know what? I'll bet Usually these hackings just happen. Somebody gets somebody else's credentials, like at a bar or something. They leave something open on their phone. Somebody takes a picture of it, and then bam! Next thing you know, it's sold to a Chinese hacker. And this happened. You remember this? Was it 2016? It happened with Sony when they were releasing that the Dictator movie.
Very vaguely, if at all. Yeah. Honestly, I don't.
They hacked Sony Pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what else. Netflix. I don't know. Okay, for those of you listening, I like money, and I like investing. And one of the investment podcasts I listen to, the trader who hosts there, he's a wealth manager. He has been real positive on owning Netflix stock, simply because of all the streaming platforms. They're the largest, they're the strongest, but they also have the most robust control of data. And that being user data, who views what, how long they view it, everything, every metric imaginable they have. And now, this one really caught my eye because of that, and it just makes me think I should have bought it a year ago. I should have bought shares of it a year ago when it was only $300. Netflix just scored a big win in the streaming wars, snagging 13 AMC shows for its platform. On August 19th, you can binge fan favorites like Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Interview with the Vampire. AMC's betting big on the Netflix effect, hoping its 12-month deal will give their shows the same boost Breaking Bad got back in the day. It's like sending your shows to streaming boot camp. They come back buffer, more popular, and ready to crush it on AMC's own turf. This move could be a game changer for AMC, potentially boosting viewership, brand recognition, and even subscriptions on their own streaming service. So that is, that's Netflix just adds they supercharge their content vehicle for another 12 months with an outlet like, well, AMC's not just an outlet anymore. They have their own stuff. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you about? In development, there's a bunch of things going on, but there was only one or two that was of interest to me.
Okay.
Where'd it go? We haven't talked about this, but Nicolas Cage's film The Surfer, it's kind of an action movie. Lionsgate and Roadside Attractions have acquired North American rights to it. Lionsgate also acquired John Carney's film Power Ballad, which, from the title, I haven't seen anything about this, but I'm betting it has to do with a hair metal band.
Okay.
And your other boyfriend, Paul Rudd's going to be in it. So how dope would that be? Paul Rudd being a rock star or hair metal rock star? Oh my God.
That would be really great.
That would be fun.
Who else is in this movie? Who did you say before?
Nick Jonas. Jonas Brother?
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I thought that was that's from your era.
No, it's not.
It's not? I'll bet it's good though.
Oh, I'm sure.
That guy can do no wrong.
Oh, sorry. It took me a few seconds. We talked about this on a previous podcast.
We did?
Yeah, this movie, this
Power Ballad
musical movie with Nick Jonas and Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
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 Because I thought that was an interesting choice, being that Nick Jonas is a pop star in real life. Like, he has a lot of experience in that.
Lionsgate is going to release it in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. and Ireland.
Well, that will be fun.
Let's see. Megan 2.0, Amazon MGM Studios developing YA sci-fi thriller, The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. Young adult sci-fi. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's not our thing.
No.
Ooh, here's your guy. Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh, what about?
He, along with Giancarlo Esposito, the guy who I think he's the guy who played, he was one of the bad guys. He ran, I can't remember his name, Gus. Was it Gus? We never watched Breaking Bad. He was
He
was like the notorious drug dealer, one of the notorious drug dealers in Breaking Bad. Katie Holmes and Gabby Hoffman joined the guest star lineup for S2 of Peacock's Poker Face. Have you heard of this?
Wait, I'm confused. I didn't think this is where this was going.
I'm going to read you the article.
Okay, thank you.
Peacock's Emmy Award-winning series Poker Face has revealed its batch of Season 2 guest stars. Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Holmes, Gabby Hoffman, and Kumail Nanjiani. Details regarding who they will play is under wraps from creator, writer, and director and EP Rain Johnson. Poker Face is a Mystery of the Week series following Natasha Lyonne's Charlie, who has an extraordinary ability to determine whether someone is lying. She hits the road with her Plymouth Barracuda, and with every stop encounters a new cast of characters and strange crimes she can't help but solve.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of a mystery series.
Is this a spinoff of her show from before?
I guess, which I did not see. But
I've just heard about it, that's all.
I saw Kumail's name, and I'm like, she's going to want to know about this.
She's going to want it. Thank you. You're right.
Do you want to hear about Chris Stuckman's horror film, Shelby Oaks? I didn't think so. Oh, your third boyfriend, Timothy Chalamet, will star in and produce Josh Safdie's A24 film Marty Supreme, inspired by ping pong champion Marty Reisman. I am going to avoid that like the plague.
Okay.
He just doesn't do it for me. You can go and see that with
I know
your gal
he doesn't. I don't know. A movie about ping pong doesn't really sound like...
Netflix renews Somebody Feed Phil. What else? None of these are things that we would really get into. Ice Cube's Cube Vision expands its partnership with Paramount Global through a First Look TV deal. Do you care that Jesse Collins is going to produce the 76th Emmy Primetime Awards? Emmys?
I don't watch the Emmys.
Me neither. Return of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire won the night with 3.71 million viewers.
Wow.
Big deal.
Does it say who was hosting?
No. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, it does. Not here, but somewhere else it will.
That was a big show. I used to play a board game. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Let me see. Hosted by Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
And then we've got a lot of trailers. The Killer, something on Peacock, which neither one of us watch.
We do not.
That's kind of it. That's all the big stuff. We got to do a blacklist. We said
we have said that many times. Yes, we have. Sorry about that. We do need to get back on the blacklist.
We gotta find one from like the past 2 years that we haven't. Because I think we were going back to 2022 for about 3 or 4 of them.
Okay. Yeah, we might have to look past that, you're saying.
Yeah. What else have I missed? Anything? If you have learned nothing from my idiocy today, go rent and stream hundreds of Beavers. If you don't like it, you're a terrible person. I don't have a problem saying that. I don't care if you disagree with me. I'm right on this. That is an amazing movie. Go check it out.
I would also like to add that if you watch the trailer and you start the movie and you're not really feeling it, I'd say put it down for a minute or a while, whatever, and come back to it. Because I talked to several people about it, and that was one of the commentaries that someone, no, I shouldn't say someone, well, yeah, I guess someone, not everybody was happy with it when they saw it the first time.
What?
And then they watched it again, and they were like, oh, okay. I
it wasn't hard to follow.
No, it's not hard to follow. It's just a different kind of movie. And I think if you, I don't know, we went into it with like, if you will, the right head like space.
I understood from the trailer.
Immediately.
Immediately. I get what this is.
And as soon as the movie started, I was like, oh yeah, I know this. And but had I not watched the trailer and had not discussed it or thought about it, like between the two of us or a little bit more than that before watching it, then I think I would have been like, I don't know, but like
you have to be primed for it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because like if I just saw the poster and somebody took me into the theater, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm. But if you're prepared for it, if you're ready, then yeah. But it's funny. It's very funny. I think it's very funny. It's entertaining. I enjoyed it.
You know what? Finding the next movie that's going to live up to this is going to be a challenge.
It's going to be really difficult. It's not going to live up to it. It's just going to be another movie.
Don't say that. It's just... I'm really going to...
Well, every movie can't be hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah, this is going to be your
I know,
pick.
so the pressure's like really on. Thanks a lot.
You better not do like a Jane Eyre remake or a for screen thing. I want some energy to whatever you pick.
You don't want a cute romantic comedy?
No, I don't.
No musical either.
I wish I had a barf button on this panel.
That's rude. Please don't. That's disgusting.
All right, anything else?
No. I think that's it.
All right. Hugs and kisses, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have another one for you soon. Peace out.
Maybe with the blacklist if we get it together.
We will.
That much.
Sooner or later. All right, toodaloos.